Hi, everybody. I wanted to do an audio format because there's many thoughts, and I don't know where I'm going to flow with this. I did not want to mix many words in a convoluted Facebook response, so I figured we'll do an audio deal here. So this is my thoughts about Bill and Ted, Excellent Adventure, and how it connects with Zion building. There's so many insights. This movie is canon to me. It's a core book. I went to a school called George Wythe College. We learned about basically core things. These are things you come to again and again and again. And the Bible has been a core book for society for a very long time. For a Christian, obviously, it's very core, canon. The canon book. Better stay away from that apocrypha. That's the uncanon. But some people dig deep into that. And so what it is, it's a place, it's a book or something that you find yourself going to again and again, that the Lord has brought to you as basically it's like it's food. It tastes good. It's teaching you. It's an archetype. It's a parable, and there's so much meaning. And so yeah, Bill and Ted's Most Excellent Adventure is. Oh, I revel in it. I don't know if revel's the right word. That's kind of a hard-hearted, filthy sinner type of word, but it's which I am one of those, so it is appropriate that I say that. But it's I don't delight doesn't sound right. More revel, so we'll flow with revel. So revel, so maybe revelatory, maybe that's where it's coming from, or maybe I revel because I do actually get this feeling. Yeah, I love it. Give me some more Bill and Ted. I want to see more. I must have more. Must have more silliness. Blessing curse. Maybe oh, he's gone too silly. He's too silly. Quick, close the curtains. The show is over. They're gonna get tomatoes thrown at him. Woo woo. Hey guys. I also like Norm Macdonald comedy. He's the guy. He would like intentionally bomb. Like he actually loves it when he's the crowd's bomb when he's bombing. He's like, yeah. He just starts playing the crowd, trolling them. I do have that energy in me. Little naughty boy troll. um, but yeah, I get more stoic here. So Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is a story of two young men who have a very positive outlook and playful character about them, and have a very positive outlook on life despite their surroundings. This outlook it brings a smile to one's face, but when it comes to serious things such as studying and receiving discipline, they are not the best skilled at that. And as a result of that, their futures don't look very bright. They sit in their basement and play terrible music, thinking they're the greatest, seeking for ways to gather to touch Van Halen that he may sign on with them. They may become a most excellent band. However, they become the archetypes that changes the world. And we are taught they do get better. Rufus, one of their guides, their mentor guide, does tell us at the end of the movie that they do get better. So there is hope. And well, all that was about to end because of the history report that was required. If they had not passed this history report, Ted would be sent off to military school because his police officer, who was his father, knew he needed some discipline, and he was at his end's wits. Both these children came from broken homes. Ted's father was very strict, authoritarian archetype. And Bill's father was a distracted and frivolous, looking for love in all the wrong places, which is made manifest through him dating the beautiful cheerleader archetype, Missy, who Ted asked to the prom just a few years earlier. Well, as the story continues, the story is it's a playful story. It brings laughter, smiles to the face, and it also connects with juvenile humor and brings back memories and perhaps present memories for those going through juvenile. Uh, the talks, the silly things that are said, the playful times with friends, the sense of freedom when you and your friend may drive, or you and a group of friends may hop in the car and drive around, and maybe someone will be silly and stand on the roof, or you'll go into a Taco Bell and be silly. Of course, that can turn to dangerous places where a person may be killed because kids were goofing off and a truck is flipped over and you get to watch your best friend die in your arms, or a motorcycle accident happens and a person is crippled for life. But those are the similar stories of youth, carefree days, till the realization that you do not live forever. But that is for another time. Discussion for another time. So Bill S. Preston and Ted Theodore Logan bring this playful youth, but also they don't bring that dangerous. That they are on the edge, but they're playful, but they're not reckless. They don't have the punk rock attitude where they're not broken, as these other youth may be, that act out antisocial type behaviors. So Bill S. Preston and Ted Theodore Logan go on a journey through time because of this history report. Rufus from the future brings them a time machine and teaches them how they need to pass this history report, because they don't know. They know some gists. Some of the gist is unfortunately very off. They know that if I can quote here, Caesar is a salad dressing dude, and Napoleon is a short dead dude. So they are in trouble, because if they do not pass this history report, Ted will be shipped off to a military school, and they will break up, and this band will never form. And what happens is this band creates the greatest music that brings everybody together to Zion, if you will. People become one, and they put down their arms, and humanity as a whole matures. So it is this future civilization is very dependent on these two great ones from their past. So the history report must be done. Now, as the movie moves forward, you realize that it's a synchronistic movie, because the future is just as tied with the past as the past is with the future. For example, in this scene, the great mantra of the future, or the great saying, if you will, perhaps even should be inscribed in stone into a holy text, even a biblical type of text, where the whole foundation of the society rests upon it, is the phrase, "Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes." And if you watch in this scene, that is the first time they ever said it, was actually in the future. So by them going to the future and being asked, or sensing that they needed to say something, brought about the mantra that reformulated in the past and built that entire civilization. This ties into the deepest theories of physics at this time, and the equations that tell us that the present affects the past just as much as it affects the future. All time happens all the time is the way to explain what the equations suggest, point to. How can that be? How can all time affect time all the time? Of course, we understand the future. What I do now changes my future, but what I do now changes my past. That is not the natural man, if you will, says nope. That does not make sense. Well, that is where a story such as the Christ story comes to pass, and that theme can be found throughout society. A hero's journey, where there must be some sort of atonement for the sins and mistakes, because a person who fails, is he destined to be a failure forever? No, there is always hope. And when the fruit is great enough, when the fruit is great enough, and the person has matured or become complete and whole enough, then those past failures, society realizes that. Well, he realizes it. The archetypical personage, he, she, and then to be more inclusive, whatever gender that is, whatever flavor that is, nuance that is, that personage, once they have that aha moment, then all those failures become cannon fodder and become things that train him. And what does it train him to do? It trains him to turn to Christ, as I call it. But let that word metaphor ring into whatever faith, tradition, belief system you may entail. Come to love, maybe a more universal description. Through these experiences, we can accept our weaknesses and transcend them. And as the song suggests, in time, everything will be all right. Through time, this is me ad-libbing. Through time, we'll be dancing on the streets of love, of love, of love. In time, everything will be all right. All right, all right. In time, we'll be dancing in the streets all night. We'll be dancing in the streets all night. Night symbolizes a darkness. Dancing in the darkness is the way to move forward. Those are some of the great secrets that Bill and Ted teaches us. Playful attitude despite the struggles. And we may dance in the darkness. And dance itself is a rhythm. Life is a rhythm, a cycle, if you will. And if we can get into the rhythm, then the hard times become slower times. And the joyful times become opposite slower times. And we become one, and we are in the flow between the yin and the yang, and not affected by them or influenced by them. We sit in the present and become, as the ancients would call, enlightened. Buddha would suggest nirvana. So some of the beautiful nuances in this scene. Notice how Socrates chuckles when they make their famous phrase, "Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes." Well, they say, "Be excellent to each other, party on, dudes." Also notice how they strum the guitar, the Van Halen image. This is another symbol, a metaphor, if you will, of how rock and roll is designed to, the spirit of rock and roll, the true spirit, if you will, is designed to bring us to love and unity. Imagine all the people living in Jesus' ways. Hey, hey, hey. You might say I'm a believer. Yes, I am. But I'm not the only one. Please come and join us. And in Zion, let us all be one. This song, actually, if you look up this song, I put it on my playlist or my Facebook post, if you will, through my timeline. Timeline, that's the word. If you listen to it, that's the theme or the mantra of the song is one life, one soul, one love. So this is Zion in Bill and Ted. Coming together, laying down our weapons of war, turning swords into plowshares through music, which is at first controversial and can go off the edges. Sex and drugs can go off the edges, and the spirit of rock and roll, but the spirit of rock and roll lives on. And so, another nuance I want to point out is notice how Socrates, as I was saying, is chuckles at their phrase. This is a deep moment here because Socrates, known as the father, if you will, of philosophy, the first person that we have on recorded history, according to the formal systems, to ask the question, who am I? And we use what is known as the Socratic method. We honor him in the formal systems and trainings, how to ask these questions. The idea is to know thyself, and by knowing thyself thou may knowest others, and by knowing others thou mayest knowest thyself. And then your life becomes something extraordinary instead of a scripted day in and day out Groundhog's Day life. But if you turn to Christ and question, get curious, then you start to peel back the layers and discover that life is a game and love is the prize. So many experiences in this show. I recommend watch it. I place it on my timeline. I have it for free. Watch it, and if you like to, if you feel so inspired, you may read my commentaries on it. I know the Lord personally has used this movie to heal me through some traumas and difficult times I have dealt with. It's those moments in my hero's journey where those failures become cannon fodder, and by his stripes I am healed, and the suffering turns into a wellness, a suffering well, which strengthens and matures me, that I might bear forth fruit and become Christ-like. How'd I do, guys? That was that was a kind of a Sam Harris discussion of some of the things I've discovered from Bill and Ted's Most Excellent Adventure. I hope I enjoyed it, and share your thoughts and insights. I would love to hear your feedback. God bless.